start recording. So today we're going to talk about command for teams, and specifically we're going to talk about command for teams smart plans. So if I haven't met you guys yet, thank you so much for being here with me. My name is Sydney Seymour. I'm the regional technology trainer for the Carolinas region, serving both North Carolina and South Carolina. I'm a KWU approved instructor and a labs advisor as well. And I'm really excited to be here with you today to speak to command for teams, specifically smart plans. So I'm going to pull up the chat and I just want to hear from you guys. It's just a simple yes or no answer. So just yes or no, are you running any command for teams smart plans? So just a yes or no in the chat. Are you running any teams smart plans through your command for teams account? All right, so we've got a little bit of a mixture. A fair amount of you are, which is awesome. And then we've got a couple of you guys that are not, which is completely fine. That's probably why you're here. So we're going to talk about first things first in the settings, just some things that you want to make sure you're paying attention to in the settings of the team account. And just so I kind of understand who I have in the room today, can you guys just do me one more favor and in chat, just write what your role is in the team. So if you're a admin, director of operations, if you're an agent on the team, if you're the rainmaker of the team, just do me a favor so I can kind of see what we have here going on. Okay, perfect. So we've got mostly admins, some agents, different things like that. Oh, got it, Shannon. Okay, great. Perfect. All right. So we're going to go through some best practices. And if at any time you guys, you have questions, feel free to either take yourself off of mute. We can absolutely have a conversation around anything that we're going through. Or I've got the chat button open over here so that if you have any questions, you can drop it there. And then Robert, I see solo agent just trying to learn everything about command. Great. So Robert, the only thing with smart plans is you might just have a little bit of some differences when you're looking at it as a solo agent, but a lot of the fundamentals will be the same. So thanks so much for being here. All right, so I am going to share my screen and just pull up my command account. Here we go. So give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn on my mouse halo so you guys can kind of see what I'm pointing at here. Great. So if you guys can just give me a quick thumbs up if you're able to see my command screen on your screen, just so I see. Okay, thank you. Perfect. Thanks so much for that. All right, so first things first, we're going to go into settings, and we want to just take a look at some smart plan settings before we really dive into smart plans. So we've logged into command, which we just get into command by going to agent.kw.com. You're going to have a username and a password that's going to give you access to that. Now we are talking specifically about command for teams today, but remember that whenever you log into command, if you are on a team or you're managing a team, remember that it's almost going to look like you have two different command accounts because everybody has a personal command and then the team command. So we want to make sure that we're always going in under the team command account for everything that we're going to talk about today. We're going to go into the settings. So we just want to make sure up here at the top right that we see our team account there, that's what we've picked to go into and not our personal command account because we want to update the settings in the team account. If you wanted to update them in personal, you would go the same way. We would go into settings. So we're just going to click on that and then we're going to go into settings. It looks like the little gear shift right here. And then we've got settings just directly next to that. So again, we just clicked on our name and then we're going to come right down here and we're going to click on settings. And then it's going to let us know that we are in the settings menu for our team command account. Now, this is where when you're first setting up your team account, this is where we would go in to add team members. This is where we would go in to manage contact permission levels, contact tags, all of those different things. What we're going to go in and take a look at today are just smart plans. So we're going to focus on the settings that will affect any of our smart plans. So when we first come in here, what we're going to take a look at is over here on the left, we've got all these different setting menus that we can choose from. So one of them right here says command settings. And that is what we want to take a look at. So once we click on command settings, it opens up that menu. So then we can see everything that has a setting that we can change for it through command. Now, today we're going to be focusing on smart plans. So all we're going to do is scroll down to the smart plans, click on that, and then you only have one setting that we can go in and change under smart plans, and that is the designated agent. So we're going to click on that. Now, we've got 4 different things that we can change here. 3 of them are really the big impact ones. So remember that a smart plan is essentially your follow-up, your leverage, your cultivating of leads, or just, staying top of mind with anybody that has previously used you. It's just your follow-up for all of that. What's important is the smart plans can be a mixture of automatic emails, task reminders. So think a reminder for you to call someone. And then if you are linked using Twilio, it can also be automatic text messages that go out. So what we need to look at here first is who do we want, who do we want these to fall under? So let's put like an analogy together for this. So let's say that we're running a smart plan, and in one of the smart plans, one of the touches is a task item. So the smart plan is, have some sort of check-in care call with anybody that is on the smart plan. So we need to decide when a task such as that comes up, who do I want that to be assigned to? Do I want it to automatically be assigned to the rainmaker, or do I want it to be assigned to the contact, assignee? So if we think of, remember, everything kind of stems from contacts and who that's assigned to. So remember that the rainmaker is going to be kind of the team leader of the agent, of the team. And then the contact assignee might be, okay, all of these contacts are buyer leads. So these are assigned to my buyer's agent. So we need to think of that as when a task comes up in a smart plan to call or to reach out or to do something, do we want that to fall under the rainmaker, that it is assigned to them and they have to complete the task? Or do we want that to fall under the contact assignee? Now, the rainmaker can also be the contact assignee. So if for these contacts, they belong to the rainmaker and we chose contact assignee as task, they would get those tasks. So I'm going to pick contact assignee for this one. The next one is emails. So this is where every team is going to be different, and you just might want to have a conversation with your rainmaker, whoever it is. When an email goes out, so if I am using a smart plan and the email is check out this new listing, do I always want the email to come from the rainmaker, or am I okay with it coming from the contact assignee? Every team is different. Some teams like to say, okay, any sort of marketing that we're doing, I always want that to appear as if it's coming from the team. So I always want the email to come from the rainmaker because it's coming from, the home team or whatever it is, right? So we can decide what that looks like. And then the text messages. So remember that if you don't have Twilio set up, no automatic text are going to be sent out. It will just be a reminder in the smart plan to send a text. And so where we are doing the rainmaker or the contact assignee, that's who the test is going to come from. So we'll keep that with rainmaker. And then for your team, the default rainmaker is Sydney Seymour. So we're going to see for this one, we only have one rainmaker to choose from. You might have some teams, a lot of times we see this with husband and wife or partners or spouses, where we might have dual rainmakers, meaning that we have 2 rainmakers for this team. And so this is just asking you, if the default task falls under the rainmaker, which rainmaker are we speaking about there? So who do we want that to fall under? But for a lot of you, you might not even have anything when we drop down here. You might just have that one option like I do. Some of you might have the dual rainmakers there. So we just have to do this once. And then once we've made all of those changes, we can just come up here and choose save changes. Now we can come back and change this at any time. So if we decided, oh, I think maybe for the emails, I want them to come from the contact assignee instead, we can come in and make those changes. Perfect. So Nancy, where do you assign contact person for specific tasks? Yeah, so that would actually be in the tasks applet, which is just right over here. So we're just doing these based off of smart plans. So when we're running that smart plan, who that task is going to be assigned to. But if we had like opportunity task or anything like that, that would be over here in the tasks for that. So any questions on just the settings behind the scenes on smart plans before we dive into the smart plans? We're good. Okay, great, guys. So we're going to go into smart plans. And remember, smart plans is the fourth little icon down. It looks like a little to-do list with kind of a gear shift right in there. And that'll take you to your smart plans. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about a couple different things here in smart plans. The first thing that we're going to talk in smart plans is the ability to go into the library and to pull smart plans in from the library. And then the second thing that we're going to talk about is how to create a custom smart plan. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about is how to take a smart plan that you might have created in your personal command account and how to easily pull that into your team account for that. So the first thing that we'll take a look at is the library. So again, we've clicked on smart plans. If you have any current smart plans that are available for your team to use, those will show up right here under your team plans. So in this account, I just have the My Monthly Call plan. That's the only smart plan that I have here right now. So maybe I want to go into the library. I want to find some additional smart plans that I want to pull in to be able to use to nurture and leverage my database. So to do that, all I'm going to do is click on Library right up here at the top. And then that's going to take you into the Keller Williams library of all of the smart plans that you have. You'll see that we have 3 different kind of subsets of smart plans. So the first one is the featured smart plans. Now these are going to change. I'm not sure how often they're going to change. This is a new update that was just released about a week ago, where we've got kind of a spotlight on some of these featured plans right here. So the first one is my long-term nurture. We've got a 5-5-5. We've got a post-closing follow-up plan. So we've got all of these different ones. Now we can click see all at any time, and I can pull in all of those smart plans. We've also got arrows down here that will allow just the carousel to continue to look at all of those. Underneath here, we've got Keller Williams created content. So if you're ever using like the monthly neighborhood nurture, the quarterly call smart plan, those are all smart plans that were created by Keller Williams. And we'll see that the author is always going to have that KW logo and then Keller Williams right there. I can see all right here, or same thing, I can just scroll through and take a look at all of those smart plans as well. Underneath that, we've got top rated. So these might be these might be agent created smart plans that are some of the top rated ones. So remember that any agent can come in and use any smart plan that's been published to the library. You'll see some of them are featured, some of them have that 5-star rating, and you'll be able to see how many agents are actually using the smart plan as well. And then the final little section that we have down here is what's new. And so you'll see these are just anything that has recently been added here. So we've got 50 that we're saying are new down here. Now, these are a lot of smart plans for us to be able to scroll through and to look at all of them. So I encourage you to come up here and to use the search field or to filter or to even view by category. So by default, it's going to search by the smart plan name. But maybe you're Rainmaker, or maybe you were listening to something and they said, oh, we've got our full smart plan. It's in the library. Feel free to go in and to grab it. We can come right here. We can choose author name, and then we can just type as long as we know the agent's name. We can start typing right there. And you'll see any of the smart plans that they've created and published to the library will be right here for you. So we can search by the author name. We can also come up here and we can search by, one of my favorite ways to search is actually by the description. And so we might say, okay, I'm doing a lot with Facebook leads. So I'm running a ton of Facebook ads. So I'm actually just going to search by Facebook. Oops, you have to spell it correctly. So we're going to search by Facebook and then just see what pops up there. So we've got 295 results. Now, if I wanted to filter, because that's just too many, I might say, okay, I want a Facebook ad that only runs for 3 months. Or I want a Facebook ad that has 10 touches, or how many agents are using it, what's the 5-star rating. So I can come in here and I can filter that down. So maybe I want like 3 to 6 months. We'll come in and filter the results right there. Of course, nothing comes up under that because they're all sooner than that. So let's see here. Perfect. So then that took it down just a little bit for me. And so then I can take a look at what we have here. Now, some things we might want to take a look at. So like if we look at Marty's right here, it's the 66-day challenge, Facebook lead. This is a smart plan for following up on Facebook leads to enhance your conversion rates, to learn the steps of implementing this full plan and building out your ad. Follow it here. Now I'll see there's got 25 steps here. It's 26 days of duration and there's 12 touches. So all I can do is if I wanted to use this smart plan, but I want to just check it out first, I can click on view steps. And then it's going to tell me the first thing is it's going to send a text message. It's going to wait a day, phone call, wait a day, text message, so on and so forth. So let's say that I've really been working on my Facebook lead gen and I want to add Marty's smart plan to my library. All I have to do is click right here on the box that says add smart plan. And then this is going to tell me this is a bundled smart plan. It contains multiple plans. Download all its contents to get started. So what that means is by me adding them to this smart plan, it's also adding them to the monthly neighborhood nurture and the long term. So I'm going to say download right here. Just going to click download right on that button. And then it will allow me, we'll do download there. And then final download. And then we'll take a look at what that actually looks like once it's added to the library. Perfect. So let's go back in now. We've added that from the library into my team plan. So I want to take a look at it. So to do that, I'm just going to click on team plans right up here. And then you'll see it's got my 66-day challenge, Facebook lead follow-up. But I want to take a look at this. So remember that when we're adding smart plans from the library, we're adding them as another agent might have used them. So we just want to make sure that we go in and before we actually add any context to the smart plan, we want to make sure that we've customized it if we want to, that we've taken a look at it. So to do that, all I'm going to do is over here on the right, I've got right in the middle of that under actions, I've got a little pencil that allows me to make any edits. So I just want to take a look at this smart plan and make any edits to it that I wish. So I'm going to click on that and give that just a moment to load. Sometimes it takes just a moment, just depending how many touches we have. Perfect. So the first thing that I want to pay attention to is what's the smart plan name? So Marty named this the My 66-Day Challenge, but I might think, well, I'm never going to remember that that's the smart plan that I want to use, but I want to use this just for my Facebook lead follow-up. So all I'm going to do is call this Facebook lead follow-up. So I can change the name right there. Now I can add what we call a trigger event, which is really nice. So I can come right here and I can click on add trigger event and I can say, anytime that I have tagged a contact with this tag, I automatically want them to be added to this smart plan. So let's think I get a lead that comes in from a Facebook ad. As long as I tag them Facebook ad or whatever you're saying the tag is, the second that I tag them as such, they're going to be automatically added to this smart plan. So we can pick whatever tag we want for that, and we can create that as a trigger event. So we'll actually keep it without one for now, but that's just, we would click on trigger and be able to do that. So then we want to take a look and it says, again, send a message, and I have this to use the default designated agent. It's going to come from the Rainmaker. If for this one, I think I actually want this to come from the contact assignee for this one that I'm running, I can override that and change that here at any time. But we'll leave that as the Rainmaker. And then we want to just take a look at it. You'll see what's nice is when Marty created this, he created it using merge fields. So this will say, hey, contact first name. So however you added your contact to the database, it would say, hey, Steve, thanks for clicking on the home I recently posted on Facebook. Now, maybe this ad that you're running through Facebook is not based off of a home. Maybe this is based off of a new list of new homes on the market in the area. So I can just come in and change any text that I want to right here if I need to change that. This is, and it would say agent's first name with, and then you would put your market center information here, or maybe the team name. Did you have any questions? In case you're like me and occasionally forget what you clicked on, let me know and I'll send you the direct link to the home you clicked on so you can check it out again. Then it's going to wait 2 days, and then it's going to tell you to make a phone call. That's going to come up as a task. And maybe I want to, maybe as your team, you're saying when you call that, this is the script I want you to use. We could put the script right here in the description so that when any member of your team gets that task, the script that you want them to use is directly right there. Then it's going to wait a day. Then it's going to send another text. So again, we might come in and just make sure we make any changes that we don't want there. Wait a day, another text, so on and so forth. So we're just taking a look at this and making sure that everything we want is how we want it to be sent out. And then we would just choose save right up here at the top right. And then any changes that we made to that smart plan will be reflected. I can come back out of this editing and look at all of my smart plans here. And then you'll see that I've changed the name of the smart plan and it'll show up as such in my smart plan library there. So that's just going to take just a moment to load because I have so many steps here. So I'm just going to pause there for a second. Are there any questions from anyone just on how to actually pull a smart plan in from the library that you have access to for that? We're good. Okay, great, you guys. All right, so let's talk about, does anybody, I'll just have you type in chat. Does anybody have smart plans that you created in your personal command that you want to get into the team command? So just a yes or no if you guys have any of those. Okay, so I see at least one yes, and I do want to go through this because sometimes you might find that the Rainmaker created some personally or another agent or someone like that, and we want an easy way to be able to get those into the team account. So I will walk you through that. So let me just share this real quick again. So rather than going in and just recreating the entire smart plan, there's a really easy way. It's about 2 steps. There's an easy way to take any smart plans that you've created in your personal command account and to move them into the team command account. So I'm going to go into my personal command account here. So I'll just go under myself. Let me just get out and back into smart plans just because sometimes it gets a little bit confusing there. All right, so again, we're starting in the personal command account because you might find that you have a lot of Rainmakers or some buyer's agents that had created a lot of smart plans in their personal command account. And then once their team command account was created, they didn't have those smart plans that they had created in their team command account, and they want to get them over to it. So again, we're going into the personal command first, and we're going to go into your smart plans. And we're not going to go into the library now because we're going to look at any of the smart plans that you've created under my smart plans. All right, so let me find one that I've created. So I might, give me one second. let me do this. I might actually just create one on the fly really quickly with you guys. So we'll just call this test to publish. So we would have had the smart plan created. It might be a series of emails, text, whatever it is that you had in your personal command account. And then I'm just gonna make one phone call and save. Okay, so this is called test to publish. Perfect. So we've got the smart plan that we created. And so you might have created these months ago or a while back, and we just want to move those into the team command account. So once we've got that smart plan that we created, let me just refresh it so that that one shows up. You'll see over on the right, we've got a couple different action items of what we can do once we have those smart plans. So we've got add contacts, edit this one if we wanted to make any changes before we move it to the team. What we're going to pay attention to are the 3 dots. And so when we click on the 3 dots, one of the options is to publish it to the library. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to publish this one to the library, and then you're going to go in under your team account and you're going to download it into your team account. So we're almost like moving it to then move it into the team account. So to do that, all we're going to do is choose publish to library. And you guys might have, like, you might have some buyer's agents on your team or listing specialists that have some really fantastic personal smart plans that they've created that you want to pull into the team account. You could have them do this under their account as well. Yes, Nancy, it is being published to the KW library, but then you can take it down after you've moved it. So right here, we've got the plan name is test to publish. I'm just going to call this training test. And so price is free. Down here is what the actual smart plan is. They've got some best practices for publishing here, but if we're just kind of pushing it out, that's fine. So we're going to choose publish. And then you'll see that when you then go in, you've got test to publish right here. And then we can come in here and delete the smart plan from here as well. So I've got test to publish that I just pulled into the library. So now what I want to do is I want to actually go into my team command account. Remember, I published it to the library from my personal. So I'm going to go into my team command account. And then I'm going to go just make sure that it moved me over into my team. Perfect. And then I'm going to go into the library. So remember, I published it from my personal. Now I go in under my team and I want to look at the library. And if we were quick enough, perfect. It's going to be down there. It's going to be the first one under what's new because it was the newest one that was just published. And so all I'm going to do is just come here and choose add smart plan. And then the plan name, I can change that here if I want. I'm going to choose download. And then that smart plan is now available in my team smart plan. So if we go back into smart plans under the team, you'll see right here now under my smart plans is my test to publish. So we're basically taking it from the personal, moving it into the library, publishing it, then just bringing it over in the team. And we can make any changes that we want here. So again, your Rainmaker might not have any, but you might want to check with your buyer's agents if there's one that the entire team wants to use and we're running out of the team, just an easy way for you to pull that in to the team command account. Any questions from anyone on that? We're good? Okay. The last thing that I want to show you when we are looking at smart plans and the creation of smart plans is how you can really easily create a custom smart plan. So we know how we can go into the library, we know how we can pull in our own, but you might say, you know what, there's not a post-close smart plan that I want to use for my business yet, so I'm just going to create my own. So we can do that by staying in the smart plan section, coming right up here and clicking on the little button that says create team smart plan. We're going to give this a name. And so we'll just call it post close. Apply. And then we'll think about this together. So I'm going to have you guys drop in chat. So let's say that we had a closing today that we are working with buyers and they purchased a house today. They closed on their property today. What type of email would we maybe want to send them maybe a week from now? Or what type of touch would we want? Would we want a phone call? Would we want a text? Like what would we want our first kind of point of contact to be with someone that closed on a home today with us? So I'll give you guys just a second to type in chat. We have a closing today with a buyer. What do we want to happen? Okay, awesome. So the first thing that we're going to lead with is a phone call, and it's going to be a congratulations call. And we're going to make it maybe buyer or seller, so not so specific. So over here on the right are all of the actions of what we can do. Now, remember, we can also pick a trigger. So maybe you have a tag that's called closed, and then the second it's closed and you apply that tag to the contact, maybe you're going to add them automatically to the smart plan, or you can come in and manually add them. That's completely up to you. But we're going to say that the first thing that we want is to make a phone call. So all we're going to do is over on here, we're going to write make a phone call. And then again, it's telling us who's the default designated agent. Do we want this to come from the contact assignee, or we can override that here? We're going to say this is due in, we'll make it due in 7 days. So we'll do like a week after the closing. And so the task name is going to be call. And then over here, what I really like, we've got these merge fields. So I can click on that and I can say call contact first name and last name. And so when that task comes up, it's not just going to say call and then I have to see the contact assigned to them. It's going to say call Billy Buyer or whatever it is. And then down here is the task description. And I might say part and then I'm going to make a reminder for myself. I'm going to say, okay. So the task is going to come up and it's going to say call and then the contact's name. And in that description, it's going to say, this is part of the post-close smart plan. Call them to see how they like their new home. And then I put stars because I want to say, be sure to add details of conversation to notes in contact record. And I might even say, add them to monthly neighbor merger. So you'll see the next step that we're going to add into this smart plan, but in the conversation with them, I just want to trigger myself. And so I'm going to say, you know, now that you live in that beautiful home, I actually have a really fantastic newsletter that I can send you every month that lets you know the home prices in your area. I know you have no thought of selling, but I understand you might just want to have some sort of understanding of what's happening in the market. Is it okay if I send that to you? And they're of course going to say yes. And then the next step, we'll walk through that. Task name is autofilled based on contact tags. How does it know when to begin? So Nancy, just a little bit, can you clarify that just a little bit for me?
So I'm thinking, okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
How does it know when this is going to be implemented?
Hang on, I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Yep.
Oh, I think you're muted, sorry.
Okay, let's see. I listened to it on the phone. how does it know when to add them or start activity on it?
Yep. So the second that I add them to this smart plan, the first activity is going to happen in 7 days because I decided that right here. So I click add to smart plan. I add this contact to the smart plan. In 7 days, it's going to tell me to do this task. Yeah. And we'll go through how to add contacts to smart plans once we build this out. All right. So the next thing that I'm going to do, and this is one of my favorite features when you are creating a custom smart plan, is that we can add them to a smart plan within a smart plan. So I'll explain that better. So I said to them right here, add them to monthly neighborhood nurture, get permission around this. So when I'm having the conversation with them and I say, I'm going to send you an email that's going to tell you what's happening with homes in your area, is that okay with you? And they tell me yes. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose add to smart plan. And then I'm going to have a list of all of my smart plans that I have, and I'm going to add them to the My Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. So essentially, I'm not having to say, okay, do a post-close smart plan, then add them to the Monthly Neighborhood Nurture, then add them to this. It's all going to be done for me. And then I'm also going to say, let me just do a delay in here. If I want to set a delay in between, I can do that at any time. And then I'm going to add them to one more smart plan, and that's going to be my monthly call plan, because I want to call them every month. I don't want to just do every quarter. I want to call every month, but you guys could decide that for you. So essentially, by me adding them to the post-close smart plan, the phone call happens first, then they get set up on the monthly neighborhood nurture, then they get added to my monthly call plan, or if you wanted to do a quarterly call smart plan, whatever you wanted to do, you could do that. And then maybe I want to do one more thing and I want to just send a text. And so I'm going to set a delay. I might set a delay here of like 15 days because I can build that in however much I want. Then I'm going to send a text, and the text is going to say, hey, and then contact first name. And then I might say, I'm even going to throw an emoji in there. And then we'll do, perfect. So this text is going to go out. That's going to say, hey, contact name, I wanted to share something really cool with you. It's my home search app. Take a look at it, and I'd love to know your thoughts. I know you have no thought of selling, but I also know how much you love to look at homes. And then I just put a little house emoji. And then it's going to be a link to my KW app right there. And then I'm just going to save that, save the entire smart plan. And that's the second we have a closing, we set them up on this. So that's where we can just add all of those automatic touches directly in there, which is really nice. So everything that you guys can add into a smart plan is over here. We just click on it, it pulls it in, and we can make any changes. So we're essentially just building out our follow-up plan right there. Once we've made all of those changes, we just want to make sure that we hit the save button right up here, get that quick confirmation that it's been saved, and then we can click the back button. Then when we're looking at all of our smart plans, again, in our team account, we'll have that one listed there now, our post-close smart plan. So we can do that. Any chance the do not call link is in command? As far as like who not to call, Nancy, or based off of the do not call registry, yeah, that's not in there. So ideally we would be using this with people that have done business with us. So we're not calling for soliciting for business. We're calling checking in on that. So final thing, you guys, is how to actually add contacts to smart plans. So there's a couple different ways that you can do that. My favorite way to do that is directly under the contacts applet. So, excuse me, when we go into the contacts in your team command account, you're going to have all of the contacts that you have in that team account. They're all going to be listed there. Now, as you start to have tons of contacts in there, we might want to go in and filter. So we might want to filter by tags or name or anything like that. This is a demo account, so I just have the one contact in here. But what I really like is you'll see that once I check the box next to any contact, I've got the contact name right there, and then I check that box. I'll uncheck it one more time because you'll see that once I check the box next to them, this option comes up right here that says select bulk action. So just by checking that box, if I wanted to choose all of my contacts, I could choose this box up here and it would pick all of them. But you'll see I have select bulk action right up here. And when I click on that, one of the options is add to smart plan. So this is just a really nice way to do that with a huge list of contacts or one specific tag of contact or whatever it might be, rather than having to go in contact by contact and do that. And once I click on add to smart plan, you'll see all of my smart plans that I have in my library show up as options. And so I can choose select. And then do I want to start the smart plan now? Do I want to push it out a week? Whatever I want to do, I can choose that, hit confirm. You'll get one more confirm of everything that's going to be sent. And then you'll get the final confirmation right there. And then they'll be added to that smart plan. When we take a look at the contacts, so if we click on the contact card, you'll see any smart plans that they are on will be listed right here under the smart plan tab at the top right for that. So I'm just gonna pause there for just a second, just to see if I got any questions from anyone or anything that you need clarity on, anything I can go over again, or anything that you guys have questions on. We're good. All right, I'm going to stop the recording just for a